Greetings, brothers and sisters. So this is Monday, September 18th, 2023. So I went through a little bit of a internet thing with one of my viewers that had a following, and you guys who watch my channel will know what I'm talking about. This is for people in the future. So, but it caused me some level of stress and negatively affected my internal condition. So this is going to be the first part of the Journey Series 122, and I'll make a separate video to put up on my Gratefullness YouTube channel. But anyways, you are always checking in with your spiritual condition, and you can feel heaviness and restlessness, and sometimes that's just you're going through a certain stage or point in your spiritual journey. Sometimes you just have accumulated grossness. And it was a big concern of mine when I left India, because the stuff I do here, in the beginning, it was very heavy. Like, it was hard for me to cover celebrities and, the heavy topics, the gross topics on my YouTube channels. My original YouTube channel. And then since then. And in India, I was getting 3 satsans a day. Of course, I was going through my own cleaning thing there as well. And there was preceptors that lived like right next door to me, and I was getting all these sittings. I was getting all this stuff. And my concern was when I left India and there'd be no preceptors, no ashram, and I'd be back in America, which is, much more aggressive and more, materialistic. I mean, India has its problems, lots of them, but it has at least its ancient, spiritual bones. And the ashrams themselves, which I live close to, are, these gateways to heaven, or like another plane of existence. So I was wondering how I was going to be able to do this job when I got back home. And there's all these stressful things I needed to deal with that I was putting off when I was in India with my kids and things, getting them back on track in their homeschooling and, all of it, right? We were in this sort of crisis, and then I was going to have to deal with it. So those were my concerns. And then my spiritual condition would get, wrecked by all of this stuff. You can feel it. And I was so, I just gone through this epic cleaning, and, I was wanting to retain the spiritual condition, whatever your essence inside you is. When you meditate, you feel it. And when there's grossness, it's hard to connect. And for the most part, somehow it just was made that I could do all these things. I started to get less affected by the content I was creating. I became more detached, and I was able to sort of maintain my spiritual condition. And then over the years, I was able to get sittings from the app that Daji created for Heartfulness, and, it was okay. It wasn't great. But what I missed out was these 4 gatherings every year where you go to an ashram, or you would, get intensive cleaning or something through the system. And you would get this level of purity. You'd have an elevated experience, and it was able to sort of carry you through, and, it was a huge boost to your spiritual system and all of it. And that wasn't available to me anymore. And as, Heartfulness collapsed and, all the things that happened, I wasn't able to have those big experiences. And certainly even the gatherings on the internet are not the same. In terms of, the sittings are good, but not being at the venue, not being around other people, and having a collective reaction, right? You have, whenever something it gets magnified by the more people that are doing it, right? You have some experiences that are, people say more is better, but more is just, it makes anything more intense. It makes the bad things more intense than the good things. And so, there's that element. And in the Sajmark system, the gatherings are great things, and that more people that do it and going to an ashram and things make them better, enhance them. And you get a real, a jolt of this spiritual energy, and you can go to a high condition, and you get really cleaned out and purified. The cleaning can be very deep. It usually is very deep. That's why I made the intensive sittings of 3 sittings. And so I had these sittings up on the Gratefullness, on this Gratefullness YouTube channel. And I was like hesitant to try them myself, like to meditate, because I was giving the sittings, and that kind of seemed kind of weird. Like a preceptor can't give a sitting on themselves, right? They can do their internal cleaning, but they can't sit there across from themselves and give themselves a sitting. But I thought about it, and I realized the sitting really doesn't have or it has very little to do with the preceptor. The preceptor isn't creating it. The preceptor doesn't own it. The preceptor isn't, I mean, it's passing through the preceptor. It's like saying that the water is created by the faucet, right? The faucet is just where the water flows through. And so I thought to myself, I should try this, right? And I should experience to see how they're working just to get a sense of it. So I did the absolute individual sitting that had used the absolute technique. It was very effective. Like I had a really great sitting. I was surprised at how great it was. Very powerful. I was like, wow. And then I decided, because of the situation I was in, and I just felt like I was going through something gross, and this had been building up for a while, and I wanted to get back to a really pure state. So I did the 3 sittings in one day, the intensive, which there seems to be 200 people that have tried it. There's 200 views on the video, and I'm not sure, people haven't responded so much. I don't think I've gotten very many comments on that, on the intensive sittings. So I don't know if people benefited like I did, but it was amazing. Like I could feel it in the first sitting, and it was just like being at one of these intensive gatherings before, where you receive those 3 sittings in one day. And by the end of it, I was so cleaned out, and it was so great. Like I look forward to doing it again. And even though, because the sitting isn't in the video, and the sitting isn't me, it's it's got its own existence, and it happens on an etheric level. And so even though I was hesitant to do it, because I was like acting as a preceptor in the situation, it was the sitting was I didn't even think about it that way when I was feeling it, receiving it. That was I didn't feel like it was coming through the phone or the video, and I didn't feel like it was had anything really to do with me as a preceptor. It was just the work was being done. So I'm very happy with the results. Like I feel like these sittings are I feel so much better about the YouTube channel. And, people have been responding that they feel good about the sittings themselves, but, it has been a real blessing. And now I understand the efficacy of it, and I'm pretty psyched about it. I'm really happy with the condition. Like I just felt so good. Last night I did the 3rd sitting. So I did all 3 yesterday. And last night I did the 3rd one, and I was like, wow. Like there's a difference between the introductory sittings that are 1 on 3 days. You get 1 every 3 days. You get 1 in 3 consecutive days. So it's 3 sittings, 1 each day. And the intensive one, these are both on playlists. And the intensive one is 3 sittings in 1 day. And like I know that that's there for me when you have to retain a spiritual condition to do the preceptor work, and you don't want to feel gross. I mean, it doesn't come through you when you're transmitting. It doesn't come through you when the transmission passes through you. But it affects your ability to see what's going on and to participate and, guide the sitting in one way or another. That's what you're there kind of to do. And so, being clean and just in general for my, making the videos and doing what I'm doing here, having a good spiritual condition is essential. And, now I can, have those deep experiences when I need them. Every once in a while, you just feel sort of gross and feel heavy, and you have something to help you. So really enjoyed it. I hope that people will have a similar experience to what I have if they do the sittings. And it's not something you want to do every week, or it's like it loses its value then. But when you really need it, it's there. And again, like I just feel phenomenal. Like I haven't felt this good. Like in terms of my spiritual condition being clean, there's like nothing left. Like when I was meditating, there just wasn't anything inside of me. And even going through a very negative experience that I was going through, everything was just cleaned out. And I was like, wow. I was just like in a thoughtless state, and just, peace and simplicity, and just, feeling God's love and all this stuff. But anyways, that's just what I want to start off with here. Only spirituality will save this world. This is Paul Romano, definitely reporting from the Apocalaughs and the Ascension. Everyone have a blessed day and be grateful.